On my Travel Wins podcast today, I have Audra Russell. How are you doing today, Audra?
I'm great.
I might get this wrong, but you're an osteopathic body worker massage therapist.
No, that's correct.
Oh wow! I was working on the osteopathic part.
It's a term that's a little less familiar with Americans.
You know, when I met you, it was interesting. You travel quite a bit for your work, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is involved in being an osteopathic body worker?
Well, essentially what it looks like is that I have trained with osteopaths, and above and beyond being able to do work with the soft tissue of the body, which is what most massage is, I'm also trained to manipulate the skeletal system. So I can do that with a bit more knowledge, a bit more finesse. And if you're familiar with osteopathic work, or if you're not, it's based a lot in energetics. And so the work that I do with the skeletal system is often much easier. It's less, I always say, it's less violent than chiropractic, not to offend any chiropractors or fans of chiropractic, but the application of the work is softer. But it's a part of what I incorporate and what I offer in my work. So oftentimes, you know, I have a client who refers to me as the Swiss Army knife of caretakers, because I come in and I can consult them on a lot of different things around nutrition and lifestyle and physical therapy. And then when I work with their body, I work with the energetic body and the different layers of the body. And that's kind of how that breaks down.
How exactly did you get involved with that? I mean, was it one thing leading to another, or?
Well, I've been doing this work now. It's hard to fathom that I've been doing this work for almost 25 years. And
an overnight success.
Yeah. But many, many years ago, to start, I've always, since I was a young girl, I've been fascinated with the body. And I was lucky enough to be raised by my grandparents. And I grew up on a working rural farm on a little satellite Indian reservation in western North Carolina. And I spent a lot of time in nature.
There you go.
And every night, once they kind of lassoed me out of the forest, they would sit side by side on the couch and lay me across their laps, and one of them would rub my head and back, and the other one would rub my feet and legs to kind of subdue me, and that's how I went to sleep every night.
Wow.
So I guess I owe them the credit I've always just been very embodied, and I was a dancer and a gymnast and an athlete, and then in the early 90s, I, on an intuitive whim, really to kind of circumvent a mini nervous breakdown, I sold a bunch of things and I bought a one-way ticket to Maui and ended up on a beach.
Yeah. It's an island, Audra.
I ended up on a beach. It's called Little Beach, and it's one of the beaches where you can be naked. And I spent the whole day swimming and kind of praying and processing. And at the end of the day, around sundown, I was sitting on the beach and kind of meditating. And I felt this presence approaching, and in my peripheral vision, I could see a woman approaching me. And as she got nearer, I looked up at her, and we looked at one another, and she looked at me and she said, "You're the one. And it was one of those really powerful moments where I didn't truly know what she meant, but I knew exactly what she meant. And from that day forward, for the next 6 months, she personally apprenticed me as a body worker in
Okay.
Lomi, and that's how it all started officially, and that's what I've been working on ever since. And I've been really fortunate because over the years I've had other encounters with indigenous healers and practitioners, and a lot of my work is based in work that I've garnered through being an apprentice, which I think is one of the most incredible ways to learn. And at this point, it's really kind of my own personal art.
No, I get that. I mean, it's interesting because what you're doing could apply towards so many different types of fields. Whether like I'm in sales, but I've been apprenticed, and I've also now apprenticed others. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting because it's fluke luck where I ended up with my job, complete fluke luck. I mean, the recession that destroyed us in 2007, 2008 really was a blessing for me, at least. Whereas I lost one opportunity, but then another one opened up because of it. Mm-hmm. And now everyone's like, "Oh, you're so lucky." I'm like, "You weren't calling me lucky 8-9 years ago." No one was calling me super lucky when the housing industry went belly up, and everyone associated with it ended up having problems. But you take it when you get it.
Were you in the real estate world, Pete?
Yeah, I was in a commercial real estate broker, and I worked for a developer. So we were looking to buy or buy existing properties and then refurbish them, or tear them down and start over, or looking for land and then building commercial property, office buildings or warehouse buildings on it. Mm-hmm. And when the recession hit and all the banks were embroiled in their mess,
everything just tanked.
Well, yeah, we no bank would give us a loan on a piece of land unless we had a client that would eat up that building. Mm-hmm. But we couldn't get a client to commit to a building unless there was a building already there. Mm-hmm. So it was chicken and the egg, and there were neither.
There you go.
So that industry dropped off 98% when I was involved with it, and then I had a friend say you should become an apparel sales rep, and I'm like, all right, and here I am 8-9 years later.
Yeah, well, it helps. It helps to be resilient, and it helps to have the courage to throw a few darts, and especially in a time like that where so many people were grasping, and a lot of people were forced to reinvent themselves, and for the better.
Yeah,
and life offers us a lot of those opportunities if we don't make them ourselves.
When you have to. I think the millennials kind of get a bad rap in the sense of most of them, and both my daughters are in that millennial category, but they haven't experienced the downturn. So literally, I mean, if we haven't had an economic downturn in 9-10 years, so if you're 28, 29, even since you graduated high school, you've never been through the bad time. And so they don't know any different. Whereas, I've been through 2 or 3 of them actually. So going back to the late 80s.
Right.
And the first
now,
go ahead.
Were you alive when they had the gas crisis and all of that going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was a kid back then, but waiting for gas sucked, and then I remember the one that probably affected me the most was the first Gulf War. It was 1991, and they were talking about they were talking about drafting, opening up the draft again, and they were going to do it reverse of what they did in Vietnam. Vietnam, they started at 18 and then worked their way up.
Mhm.
This time they were going to start like I think 25 or 26 and work their way down
Mhm.
because they wanted more people with more life experience. And I'm like, hold on, I'm 24. I'm not in college. I'm working. I don't have any kids. Oh, I'm getting drafted. I'm like, I'm getting.
You don't currently have any. You didn't at the time have any injuries that would preclude you from being drafted, so you were prime suspect.
Yeah, and thankfully that war didn't last, but 90 days or whatever it was.
Oh,
but what it did was it really. I worked in the computer software industry at the time, in entertainment and games, and when the war started, everyone stopped spending extra money.
Mhm.
And everyone got kind of panicked. How bad is it going to get? This and that. So everyone went in the shutdown, and games and entertainment, which are extras, stopped being purchased. So I didn't get drafted, but I was worried about it. And then our company went out of business.
Mhm.
And at 20, I think I was 24. And I'm going, oh, okay, well, it's time to start over again.
Well, yeah.
And the kids today, the 28, 29 and younger, haven't dealt with that yet. And when they do, they'll learn.
Yeah.
Forced humility.
Well, it's everything always ebbs and flows, and
yeah, that's just life.
Being able to be resilient and reinvent yourself, and it's essential. It really is.
So for your osteopathic body working, how much traveling do you do? And I think this will blow some of my listeners away, because I think in most people's heads, and I'm just speaking out of turn, I guess. A massage therapist, you have your studio and people come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't really travel. You just go to your studio and people come and you get worked on. You kind of took a different approach.
Right. I took a different approach, and in some ways it was out of necessity, and in some ways it happened organically. I work exclusively as part of what you would consider like concierge healthcare or boutique work. So I travel to all of my clients' homes and work on them in their home and or their workspace. And I've been living in Big Sur now for over 7 years. And while I was there, Big Sur is a location that draws a lot of people from Los Angeles and San Francisco and all over the world. But while I was there working before the bridge collapsed and the road fell off into the ocean, I started traveling to San Francisco and Los Angeles to see clients that I had met in Big Sur. And it's just evolved into now that is my full-time work. So I spend a certain number of weeks in Big Sur. I spend a certain number of weeks or weekends in, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, Marin, Napa, and then a handful of weeks in Los Angeles, and then I just rotate. And then, recently I work with a lot of clients in the entertainment industry, so if someone's training for a role and they need me to be available, for several weeks, then they hire me to do that. And then I punctuate my time with those particular people with my other clients that are already, existing in those areas. So I travel a lot. Every 2 weeks, I'm in a new city, and sometimes it's every weekend I'm in a different spot. So, yeah.
And to me, that's just amazing. Like I said, I never, unless I actually met you, I never would have thought that. So it's just, I just always thought.
Why? Because
I always thought a massage therapist.
I don't look so ragged.
I think it's awesome though.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Thankfully, I love all of the places that I get to go.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Each place offers something really amazing. And I love the people everywhere I go, and I've really kind of spoiled myself because I've been able to curate a life full of clients that I enjoy and being in great spaces. And everywhere I go, LA and San Francisco have amazing museums. They have really thriving, colorful art worlds. So I try to mix in when I have time, taking in all of those things. And for me, it's fun. I have a little bit of a restless nature. And so it helps. It helps to be on the move a little bit,
Yeah,
And
I'm the same way.
in each place, I've also established a certain level of community. So I have friends everywhere I go, and when I can, I connect with them and have a meal or do something fun. And the people who work at the places that I frequent also become an extension of my community.
Yep.
So right now I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm sitting behind my favorite bookstore called Book Soup, and I know everyone in there, and they know me. Well, actually, they know my dog because I travel with my dog everywhere I go, so they love Leo. And it's nice when I come into town and I walk into different shops or restaurants, and the people say hello and ask about me, and I know about their lives, and they know about my life, and that makes it a little more homey. I feel a little less like a satellite.
But how do you find out about things? Do you use an app? Do you just Google? Or how do you find restaurants or museums or bookstores? Or how do you find the things you end up doing?
I prowl around.
You just find out by happenstance.
Yeah, well, in Los Angeles and San Francisco, I have clients that are spread out all over, and because I drive to them, I see a lot of things. And so I'll see a marquee or a sign, or someone will share an event with me. So a lot of it's word of mouth. It's very analog.
Yeah.
I could, I'm sure there are apps that I could enlist, but I like using people for my information, and then just driving by things.
Yeah.
So, and every now and again, I'll pick up a paper, or like an LA Weekly or something, and see something that's going on.
I was gonna say I use LA Weekly too, and they're for me their online isn't as good versus just reading the magazine. That's just me. I'm weird.
I know. I'm old school. I like newspapers. I like real books. I don't have a Kindle. One of my clients saw a stack of books in my car, and they were like, "Audra, why are you you travel all the time? What are you doing with these books? You don't have a Kindle?"
Exactly.
Like, no. I like the smell and the feel of a real book. That's all part of the.
Yeah, but see, I tell you, I had a BlackBerry forever, and both my daughters were on iPhones, and a lot of my friends were on iPhones, and I was like, I fought it forever, and then I finally got an iPhone. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome.
I know, it is a life changer. That is true.
So all of a sudden, I'm like, I have a map that'll show me traffic and congestion and different routes I could take, and like, this is pretty cool. This works.
Completely.
I for me as a traveling sales rep, I love the technology that's available to us.
Well, you're at airports and that kind of thing a lot, aren't you?
I probably do about 75% driving.
Oh, really?
So yeah, because I have so many samples that I can't. I mean, I literally have two huge, I call them body bags, because you could fit humans in them for my boot samples. And then I have a big box of about 600 laminated cards for the apparel that I sell per season. And then I have my belts, purses, and accessory box. So I have all this stuff that I have to carry with me. So
right. Well, we're in the same boat. I schlep a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I travel with linens and oils and table and everything.
And a dog.
And my dog. Yeah.
I have my dog on my lap right now, so he'll be quiet. As quiet as he can be. French bulldogs aren't known for their
Oh, you have a
calm
Frenchie?
demeanor. And he snores quite loudly.
I have a soft spot for all bullies. I've had them, and I just love them.
My wife had an English.
Yeah, that's what I've had, and oh my goodness. Totally melt me, completely melt me. I'm trying not to talk too loud so my dog doesn't get jealous.
Exactly. My dog's going, hey, you just took me for a walk, so I'm going to sleep now.
Yeah.
It's the life of a dog. So, wait, okay, so you talked about the good parts of traveling. What are the negatives or bad parts for you of having to travel for your work?
Well, the negatives, there are the things that are associated more with my personality than anything. There's always being organized and keeping records and keeping track of your expenses and all of that. And I pretty much have that hacked. But really, it's balancing. It's like everybody else who has a normal job, whether they travel or not, it's always about the work-life balance. And, I do have a community back home in Big Sur, and my friends, luckily enough, they miss me, so sometimes I get a little flack about not being around or missing out when things are happening, and that's a challenge. I'm also single and I don't have children, so it's not as though I'm missing out on my children growing up. But I think sometimes being on the road and being single, it's difficult to have a personal life, an intimate life. And oftentimes I'm working when normal people would even be meeting one another, even though it seems as though, people nowadays only meet each other on an app anyway. I don't know.
That's true.
I haven't ventured into that world yet, but so it's really the personal aspect of maintaining my community. I do my best to call my friends and communicate with people and stay connected. And I have a lot to manage. I'm fortunate enough to have enough clients that I'm communicating with them a lot and managing my time and just working in my own self-care. It's important that everybody take care of themselves, but I literally use my body as my tool. So I have to build in enough time to meditate and exercise and to plan my meals. Like having nutritional food when you're on the road a lot is really an art form, and being prepared and just all of that. It just takes a lot of management, and I think it does take more management than if I just, lived in one place and had an office in one place. It definitely takes a lot more energy.
Absolutely.
And when I'm in Los Angeles and San Francisco, I work late, so I do a lot of evening and late night work, and that just, that means that the time that I have to be social or, it's like sleepy. It's kind of like being a bartender, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Except that I work on my own, and so I don't really have the camaraderie of working with a group of people, which is why it's really important for me, not just energetically, but as just a human being who likes to connect with other humans, to really enjoy the people that I work with and as clients. So I feel really lucky in that way that I do.
I think a lot of people, anybody that travels for work like us, I mean, I've missed birthdays, I've missed special events, so it is the balance of just trying to stay in touch with the ones you care about.
Right.
And, like I'm leaving on Sunday for 17 days, and all of a sudden it's like, so when I'm home, I for me, it makes me appreciate being home more.
Mhm.
Because,
That is true.
I'm excited to go on this trip, but I know about halfway through it, I'll be like, can't wait to get home. And so when I get home, I'm like, let's do all the things I haven't been doing for the last. Because for me, I sleep in hotels a lot. So sleeping in a hotel for 17 straight nights in Las Vegas sounds fun to some people, but to anyone under 30, probably sounds great.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
But and I know some of the people that work for us at the rodeo, it's their vacation. I mean, yeah, they have to work during the day, but they're like, man, I get to go out and party all night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm good.
No, I'm with you. I really love being at home. And the last time that I was at home, I realized, like, when I get home, everything is a mess. I unpack everything because everywhere else I stay, I have to be so organized and maintain my space. And I end up being naked a lot, because I don't have to worry about anybody else. And I like to sleep and read. And, I love being home when I finally get there. But then after a little while, it gets, you get a little itchy. You're like, okay, got to get back on the road.
I'm sure, like you, for me, some of it, if I'm not traveling, I mean, I make a little bit of money staying home, but I make most of my money when I'm traveling.
Oh, entirely. No, it's not necessarily volunteer. I'm not volunteering always to go on the road. It's an absolute necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know, like, if I stay home for a week or two, I'm like, oh, something's wrong. I should be traveling.
Yeah, well, you have this impulse inside of you that's used to, routinely being on the go.
Yeah.
So it takes a minute to cool your jets, and then when you do, it feels strange. No, I understand.
Exactly right. What's how would you recommend? What are the difficulties, do you think, as a single female that has to travel? Is there any difference, do you think, or?
Well, it's definitely. I think there's a huge difference. The first thing is safety. I don't know that a lot of men in their general life feel like they could be a target, or that their safety is threatened quite the way women do all the time. So I am incredibly observant. I'm very careful. Almost all of my business at this point is referral.
Yeah.
And because I work at people's homes, that matters. That's a huge, that's a huge safety net for me, because new people are vetted, So it's definitely, and as I travel, when I'm driving, I'm really careful about everything, the maintenance on my car, so that I'm not stranded, that my AAA membership is always renewed, current. I'm always paying attention to who's around me. So safety is definitely an issue as a woman all the time, but especially when you're traveling.
You think most of it's just being aware?
Definitely being aware, being observant, for sure. And then as you travel, if you travel the same route like I do, I've honed the places where I will stop, where I'll feel safe, even just to, go to the loo. It's very important.
Yeah, see, and you're right. As a man, I just look for a place to pee.
Right.
I mean,
you can just go on the side of the road with pretty much, easily.
I don't do that. I mean, I know physically I can, but
if you had to.
If I had to, I could. But I'm like you. I pretty much travel the same route when I'm going out to my seasonal sales, whether it's down to San Diego and Calexico, or out to the desert, or Bakersfield, Fresno, going to San Luis Obispo, all the way up to San Jose and the peninsula. And so for me, I'm the same way. It's like I'll find, this restaurant, this bathroom, these are the places I like to stop. And I'll try and find new places, but I'm pretty much a habit guy. So I have the places I like to eat, and that's where I like to eat.
Mhm.
You know, when I'm at home, my wife and I will try new restaurants and all that, but when I'm traveling, I like normalcy, I guess, as much as I can.
Right. Keep things consistent. Know what you can count on. No disappointments. Yeah. You're focused.
Exactly.
You're on task. I'm 50% that way, and then the other 50% of me is pretty adventurous. I like trying new places and finding new things because that's part of the fun of being on the road for me is the adventure of it and keeping it fresh and keeping it new.
And for me, I'll try and just like I'll take different roads. Like if I built in the time, I'll find an out of the way road on the way there or on the way back. But you know, a lot of times it's I'm just trying to get there. It depends on if I hit traffic or an accident, then I have to get to my appointment. But if I have the time, I'll try and find a different way, a different route.
No, that's the best. I love it. I love meandering on back roads, and California is so beautiful, but I've driven cross country over a dozen times, all different routes, you know, and being it's fantastic. And then I have a habit of talking to strangers a lot and kind of interviewing them in the different places that I stop, and it's just so rich. I love it.
Yeah, to me, that's the best part about the traveling I do now is meeting random people, i.e. at comedy clubs or anything. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's if you're going to have to travel, you might as well make it fun.
There are a lot of good people out there, and I think it's really fun when your paths cross and you can make a new friend or learn something new and that you never would have otherwise if you just swim in the same school of fish.
Exactly.
Fun. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the time. Is there usually I say how can people reach out to you? I don't know. You're not really pushing anything or selling anything or.
No, I'm not. But if someone I don't even know how to parlay from that, actually. Yeah.
Well now
loads of people listen to your podcast, I'm sure. But I'll let you refer me if you know someone who needs me, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you would be able to vet them and let them know about me.
Don't put that on me.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, I truly believe, good people know good people.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I have new clients all the time. So and so and so and so. My name has traveled down the line, and that's good.
Yeah, referral business is probably key in your business.
It's the best. Well, and it also means that I have to honor client confidentiality. I mean, I would be bound by that anyway. And then a lot of the clients I work with, I actually have to sign paperwork around not revealing their identity or anything that's disclosed within a session. And it can, I don't have a problem with that. But when your business is built on word of mouth and referral, you
want to use that person as a referral, but you can't, right?
No, you have to be even more acute about minding confidentiality between people. Yeah, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I know we talked about it before. It's the same issue my daughter has.
Mm-hmm.
She could get more work and more opportunities if she told everyone who she worked for.
Right.
But she's not allowed to.
I think about that sometimes. For myself, and even though I have a lovely client base, I can always use more clients. My clients are generally affluent and they travel a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like I see them every week or every couple of days. I have to have a really large client base because of the carousel. They're always moving, and You have to be at the right place at the right time. But no, I really, I feel like it's a privilege to work with people and their bodies. And oftentimes in sessions, people process a lot verbally or emotionally or energetically. So I hold, part of my job is to hold space for that and definitely honor people's privacy and their confidentiality. So unless they refer me, no, I can't use any contacts that I have to promote myself or, and I don't even have a website. So,
Do you have an Instagram page you want me to send people to? Or
I don't. No, I don't. No, I'm kind of like I'm like a little secret. What was that movie where the guy gave out a little black card and did that relationship counseling? Will Smith was in that movie where he was on like a secret referral system. I'm kind of like that.
I don't remember that. I'll have to.
Yeah, he was in that movie with Kevin James and that gorgeous Eva Mendes. I can't remember the name. Hutchins? Hutch. Was it Hutch?
Hitch.
I don't remember. Hitch.
Yeah.
That's the movie. Yeah.
I got the love doctor guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of operate like that, Pete.
Are you allergic to shellfish?
No. No, but I do keep an EpiPen just in case for myself or anybody else. I carry an EpiPen. That's
awesome.
Oh, well,
That's
I'm
funny.
delighted that you had me on your podcast, and this has been really lovely. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for expanding my community.
Oh, that's so darling.
We'll have to stay in touch.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Always.
And I guess that's it. Like I said, usually people are like, oh, go to my website, go to my Instagram, my Twitter. And you're just like, no, I'm good. So that's pretty awesome.
But it's always great to have a good chat. That's what I say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, enjoy your weekend.
Thanks. You just broke up a little bit, Pete.
Yeah, I know. I made the mistake of moving my headphones and it unplugged.
Oh, okay.
So we're back.
All right.
That's the beauty. I'll be able to edit that part out.
There you'll get to that. Well, have a great time at the rodeo.
I will do my absolute best. I actually have family flying in for a couple of days from Texas, so it'll be nice to see.
How many people did you say attend this?
For the whole event, that they estimate it's about 250,000 people.
That is amazing.
Yeah, because we set up. There's 3 venues that sell during the day to the public, and so we set up 3 different booths at the Sands Convention Center, 3 booths at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and then 3 booths for our 3 brands at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center.
Wow.
And then what happens is around 4. I think the convention halls close around 5. Right around 4 o'clock, it starts emptying out because the rodeo starts. It's every night. It's 10 nights of a rodeo, and that starts at 6 or 6:30. So people will buy and shop all day long, go back to the hotel, change, and then go to the rodeo at night.
Mm.
And usually the people that visit, they'll go for a weekend, they'll go for 2 days, 3 days, and then they just go home. For me, I'm there for 16, 17 days. But it's the last day, I think the convention hall had like 28,000 people come through the doors in one day.
Wow. Massive.
And it's just a ton of people. So.
Well, I hope it's profitable, and I hope you have so much fun.
Both would be nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will definitely stay in touch with you, and thank you so much again for your time.
All right, Pete. Likewise.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.